That's crazy. Everyone will be in the back. So Lee, just repost the link so everyone can get in there. I know it's uploading. I can see the people coming in. 24 agents are on right now. Hey guys, so real quick, we're gonna get rocking and rolling. I want to respect everybody's time. So we have Trevor and Marquise on here. We're very excited about this. You guys, I know we're introducing Corebridge to you guys, and today's entire segment is going to be on final expense. I know how important it is for us, for the families we're serving, to make sure we have this product line. And I searched around and looked at all the different companies, and this is where I got pointed to be one of the flagship final expense companies that we are going to leverage as a company. So Trevor, I'll have you introduce yourself real quick. I got to meet Trevor when I went out to Indy. It was Indy. Was I in Indiana? I'm all over.
We were in Indy, yeah.
I got to meet him out there, and I know him and Jim, who I have a great relationship with, have a really good relationship. And then Marquise is cut for some of our cloth. He's been in the field with us, so I'm excited about that as we get to keep working with him. But Trevor, if you want to introduce yourself real quick, and then Marquise, and then I'll have him pull us off. But guys, get your pen and paper out. This will be one of our premier, if not the premier, final expense we use. So I want you guys to pay attention, and then we'll do some follow-up with Trevor on some other meetings. But I want to start moving this product ASAP. So the floor is yours, Trevor, real quick, if you want to go ahead and introduce Marquise, and then we'll get rocking and rolling, okay?
I will. Thank you guys so much, Jason. Appreciate you, your friendship and partnership, and looking forward to talking with everybody on the line today. Certainly know that your time is valuable, so we appreciate the opportunity to spend a few minutes for you. As Jason mentioned, I'm Trevor Keeble. I'm the Regional Sales Director here. I'm responsible for the sales and relationship between you all and Corebridge Financial. So anything that you need help with as a point of escalation, or you've got a question, or you're just having issues, I'm here to help. And also, so is Marquise, as Jason mentioned. Marquise is my internal wholesaler. He is my right-hand man, and he is the one who does all the dirty work when I am on the road and traveling in hotels and airplanes all the time. He's a fantastic resource for you all to help answer product questions, help you with the applications, anything else that you need to make your job easier doing business with us here at Corebridge Financial. He mentioned just a moment ago as well that we're going to spend the majority of our time today speaking about the final expense products, and I'll kind of walk through some of the stuff that I have shared. There will be plenty of time at the end today for Q&A. So if you have questions or you need clarification on anything that you're hearing from us, don't hesitate to type that into the chat, and we will absolutely make sure that gets addressed at the end. Both of our contact information is on your screen right now. So take a picture of it before I move on. Write it down, whatever's easiest. There's my cell phone number and my email address. And it is Marquise's home office desk number and his email address. He asked me not to give you his personal cell phone, and I'm going to politely respect his wishes. But that number below my name is absolutely my cell phone number. And you can reach out to either one of us at any time by email, by text, or by phone call if you have any questions, and we are absolutely here to help you. So when you think of final expense, you really think of obviously two primary products. The first being guaranteed issue, GIWL, and then the second is simplified issue, SIWL. Guaranteed issue is pretty straightforward. It's a guaranteed issue product as long as you're between the ages of 50 and 80. So we're not going to really spend much time on that today. What we are going to spend time on the rest of the time, as a matter of fact, is the simplified issue product. You will see it referenced and referred to as Simply Now Legacy. Actually, it's Simply Now Legacy Max or Simply Now Legacy. And that is because there are two versions. There is a level day one SIWL, and there is a graded SIWL. So Simply Now Legacy Max is the level product. Simply Now Legacy is the graded product. They both work or have the same issue ages as the guaranteed issue product, 50 to 80. Of course, with the level version of the SI product, it is full death benefit available right from the get-go, right from day one. If you're writing a $20,000 level SI product, that full $20,000 is available to the beneficiaries from that date of issue for whenever the policyholder passes away. The graded version of the SI product is a 2-year wait. So it actually works exactly the same way as the guaranteed issue product does as far as death benefit. Both of those are a 2-year wait. If the insured passes away within the first 2 years, they get 110% of premiums paid back. So premiums plus a 10% premium if they pass away in the first 2 years. Again, that is the same on the guaranteed issue and the graded simplified issue product. So you might say, well, what's the point of graded SI compared to guaranteed issue if the death benefits all work the same? And the answer is very simple. It's that graded SI is cheaper for your customer than guaranteed issue because the client is still qualified medically, right? When you run through the application, we'll talk about it here in just a moment. There's 3 outcomes. You're approved for level day 1 SI coverage, which is best case scenario. You're approved for graded SI, or you're declined for SI, which means that you're approved then or would need to pivot to the guaranteed issue product. The good news is that everything that we've got for you for final expense products is all on one single application. So this is a snapshot of our agent portal, which is called Connext. When you are licensed, appointed with Corebridge, you will get a writing number. You will register that writing number on the agent portal, which will give you access to the e-application. Once you've created your login, your registration, and you do log in, you'll see right on the home page, right in the center, very hard to miss, I've highlighted it here for you, SIWL/GIWL e-app. You click that link and it's going to bring you right into the application. Now, with this single application, there's a couple of key components that I want you to understand. First of all, when you click the link and you go through, it's going to ask you which product you want to start with. It's going to ask you if you want to start with SIWL or if you want to start with GIWL. And this is very, very important because there are absolutely instances where you will know that the person that you are speaking with on the phone will not qualify for SIWL, whether that is because of medical conditions, medications, or a combination of both. You know that that person is a GIWL candidate. In those instances, you absolutely will select GIWL as the starting point for the application. And all that does is it allows you to bypass all of the medical underwriting questions that are associated with it being SIWL, because there's no reason to waste your time or the client's time going through all those questions if you know that there's no shot at them getting SIWL, that they're only going to get GIWL. However, if you're ever on the fence and if there is ever any doubt about which product the customer might qualify for, if you believe they have a shot to qualify for level or graded SIWL, the recommendation is always to start with the SIWL or choose the SIWL product as the starting point inside that application. And we do that for a couple of reasons. Number one, when you log into the application, if you've chosen SIWL, very simply, you're going to start by putting in the customer information, name, birth date, gender, all the identifying information. And then it will jump you directly into the underwriting questions, the medical questions. After you've answered the medical questions, the decision is going to populate right away. So you're not going to be completing all the beneficiary details, all the payment details. You're not capturing signatures, only to get a decision that you didn't like or that the customer wasn't expecting. So when you start with SIWL, you go through, you enter the customer information, you answer the underwriting questions, the decision is instantaneous, and it's one of 3, like I mentioned just a moment ago. Best case scenario, it's approved for level SIWL, or it could be approved for graded SIWL. And the third option is that it comes back declined. And it would be a decline only if you're starting with SIWL. And what it will say in that instance is, hey, this customer does not qualify for SIWL, so it's declined. But would you like to pivot to a guaranteed issue application? You simply click the button inside the app that says you want to pivot from SI to GI, and it's going to pull all the information that you've already input for that customer into that GIWL application for you to then pick up from that point forward and complete with the customer on the line. So with it being on a single application, you've got a couple benefits. First of all, you're going to know specifically what they're approved for within the first few minutes of you talking, because the decision is instant and it's upfront early in the application process. Second, if it's declined, you've got the opportunity to pivot inside that same application to GIWL. And when it imports all that information, it means it's saving you and your customer both time, because you're not having to go through and recapture and put in their birth date and their address and their gender and all that information again that you already did once, because it will, with it being on one app, it will import all the information for you. So that is a benefit we believe that is very helpful for you all, and it certainly is a time saver for you and for your customers with everything being on one app. Now, a couple other key points. I've talked about a few of these items, but I want to expand on a couple of them just a little bit more. I said that it was an instant decision product, and it happens early in the application process, and that is true, right? I just mentioned that a couple of different times. You're getting the customer info, you're answering the medical questions, and then you're getting that decision. I will also say that once that decision is rendered, you will never have a situation that you have to worry about where you're going to call from somebody in my home office 3 days later and they say, hey, you know what? Jason, while you were talking with this customer on the phone, we told you it was approved for level day 1 SI. We got bored and decided to pull the file again and take another look at it. And I don't think that was right. We're going to offer graded SI instead. That doesn't happen with this product and with this process that we've implemented. Once we provide you the decision and the offer, and you move forward with completing the application, you and your customer will both have the peace of mind of knowing that the decision won't change later once it comes in-house. That isn't going to happen. Those are uncomfortable conversations for you to have with the customer, and frankly, I don't feel is a very fair way of doing business. So we will not be doing that. We do not do that. Once that decision is provided, it is a final decision. You've got that peace of mind. The other thing I'll mention about the answering the questions is that it is very, very important that you answer as best as you can. Obviously, we know our customers never lie, right? They just forget the truth. Wink, wink. But you will be graded less harshly if you've admitted to a condition in the application and we validate that condition in our background checks, instead of that condition not being disclosed on the questions, and then we find it on our own in the background checks. Because in those instances, it's like, okay, they told us they didn't have this. We found out that they did. What else are they hiding from us, right? And those are that's difficult from a carrier perspective, because if you didn't disclose one thing and we found it, what else haven't you told us, sort of thing. So you are going to get dinged less for answering it honestly and us validating it, rather than it not being answered correctly and us finding it on the back end. The other item here is that when we provide those decisions, if the decision is anything other than approved for level day 1 SI, so if the offer comes back graded SI or declined, we will tell you specifically why that decision was what it was. Well, it came back graded because of this and this, or came back declined because of this, and this. And we do that for a couple of reasons. Number one, that gives you credibility, I believe, when you're speaking with your customer on the phone, say, hey, this is the offer that we got from Corebridge, and this is exactly why we got that offer. Or you might look at the offer and say, hey, you know what? We got graded because of this condition. I think I might be able to take this over to company B or C and maybe get a level day 1 offer. Listen, I would love all the business. We all know that is not realistic, but we're going to provide you and arm you with the information necessary for you to do what's in the best interest of the client. So again, we provide those due to reasons on every single application when it is not approved for level day 1 coverage. If it's approved for graded or if it's approved for guaranteed issue, you will know exactly why. As far as payment types go, we take all payment types on both the products, on the guaranteed issue and the simplified issue product. Bank draft, of course, debit card, of course, also credit cards and Social Security debit, Direct Express cards are also all accepted. I will say there is no hit to your commission from us based off payment type. So you're going to get paid the same whether it's Direct Express or bank draft. And there's no impact to the customer as far as a price by payment type. It's all the same regardless of the payment method that they have selected. And of course, they can change it later if they want to get it enforced today with a credit card and change it to a bank draft or debit card down the road. We've got paths to do that once you've selected that at the front, and it is absolutely not locked in. It can be updated at any point in time in the future. Signatures. Couple different ways that you can capture the signatures for the applications. Again, it's for both products here, for guaranteed issue and simplified issue. There is a face-to-face signature option, which of course isn't an option, isn't going to be utilized if you're doing all of your sales over the phone. And in fact, not only is it highly discouraged, it is more than a hand slap. So if you're making phone sales, it is not a face-to-face signature, and so do not select it. You are selecting one of the other two options. You are selecting either an email signature or a text signature. They both work the same way, except the text signature is much easier, I believe, for a customer to get through. It is a text link. So if you choose the text signature option, we will, after you've submitted it, we will send a text message with a link to your customer. And they click on the link, they click accept, they click the button to sign, and the signature process is done. Now again, that is very similar to the way that the email signature is done, but I can't see you. I can't see a show of hands right now. But how many of you, I'm guessing a good majority of you on the phone, have spent time trying to walk a 78-year-old woman through how to find her email app on her phone, or how to log into her email account because it was set up by her daughter 12 years ago for some reason or another, and she has no idea how to use it. Those are very tiresome conversations. They're unnecessary, and nobody likes to have them. That text signature eliminates all of that back and forth, and it is as simple as it gets. In fact, we've got a video on our marketing website that I'll show you in just a moment that walks through the process. The entire video is a minute long in length, and the last 20 seconds of it are corporate legal disclosures. So it is a very simple, quick process to use that text signature, and it would absolutely be my recommendation that is your method, unless you, for whatever reason, you need to use the email signature option. The other thing, the last thing I'll say about the text signature, I mentioned just a moment ago that for now it is a text link. In the near future, and when I say near future, I mean sometime between now and the end of this year, that text signature link will be updated to a text code, like a 6-digit code, which again takes the already simple text signature link process and makes it even more simple for you and the customer. Right now it is the link. It will be the text code in the next couple of months. We're always looking at ways to make process and product improvements to make your lives and your customer lives much easier. So keep that in mind as well. But as it stands right now, even with it being a text link, I can't specify enough just how simple truly that process is. The last kind of really details from a product perspective for the SI product is the underwriting, right? Process and underwriting are king in these simplified issue products, okay? I mentioned a lot of the stuff on the left-hand side already. So there's no extra underwriting, right? Nobody's going to call you a couple days later to tell you we changed our mind. There's no waiting on an underwriter decision. It's an instant decision inside the application, so you're not going back and forth with an underwriter. We're not scheduling follow-up interviews with your customer to get clarification on details. That is not happening. We also, and this I think is important for you all, we do not pull MIB in our background database checks, which is unique because most final expense products and companies that utilize the background checks, we all utilize the background checks, right? Almost all of them pull MIB. We do not use MIB as a source of data and information when making our decisions. You might say, well, why not? Well, what does it matter? The key benefit to you all is that MIB, the primary driver of MIB in these simplified issue products, is that it we'll let everybody know if the customer has applied for or been declined from insurance for insurance in the past by another carrier, right? And that is a negative mark, or could be a negative mark against them. We don't pull MIB. We have no access to that information. So I think that is important. The last part of the underwriting is underwriting niches. And we certainly have a couple, just like everybody has a couple that you'll be working with. A couple of them that I want to point out. Far and away, the biggest underwriting niche with Corebridge is stage 1 cancers. We do, if your customer has a stage 1 cancer condition, that they could be currently being treated for that condition. They could have been diagnosed yesterday. They could have gone to chemo 2 days ago. It doesn't matter. If it is a stage 1 cancer, they can be eligible for that level day 1 coverage on our SIWL product. Stage 1 cancers. Now, we obviously know there are multiple stages of each cancer condition. And there are certainly a lot of cancers that are much more aggressive than others. I will be completely transparent with you. There are a couple of stage 1 cancer conditions that we do not make eligible for that level day 1 coverage. But what I can tell you is all of the most commonly diagnosed stage 1 cancers, all of the most commonly diagnosed stage 1 cancers are available for level day 1 SI coverage. Again, that is unique. We're the only one that I know of as of this morning that offer that ability for your customers with those stage 1 cancer diagnoses. Couple other items. We don't ask about or underwrite for neuropathy or diabetic neuropathy. They are not questions on the application. So if your client has neuropathy, they also could qualify for level day 1 coverage. Now, if they are, again, in the sake of full transparency, if they are diabetic and they are insulin dependent, that is not going to be a level offer. It'll be graded SI at best. If they are diabetic and that it is managed on their own without insulin, without medication, and their A1C is under control, those customers we can get day 1 coverage on. But if they are insulin dependent, it would not be a day 1 coverage offer. It would be graded SI at best. The other item that I'll point out is that we have a very, very extensive underwriting guide that lists out a plethora of conditions and what our offer would be, right? So it's going to approve for level, graded, or decline in that underwriting guide. If you don't have that as a part of your resources yet, I'll make sure to connect with Jason to ensure that it's at a spot for you all to have ready, easy access to it, because also in that guide is a list of knockout medications. So if, again, a very easy cheat sheet for you. If the customer is on one of these medications, they don't qualify for our SI product, so you can skip that part in the application and jump right into guaranteed issue. The other thing from an underwriting perspective, again, because everybody has niches, right? But I think what is often overlooked the most is the underwriting consistency, because fair, consistent offers and decisions not only give us credibility, but it gives you confidence when you're talking with your customers on the phone to know that when you start an application process, it's going to be a fair, consistent decision. Assuming you've done a little bit of field underwriting on your end, on the front end of the application before you get going, we're seeing about 3/4 of the time that you're starting with an SI product, you're getting an SI offer. Okay, again, 3/4 of the time you're starting with SI, you're getting an SI offer, and 2/3 of those offers are level day 1 offers. Now, if you are not doing any field underwriting, you're not weeding out the folks that are laying in the hospital bed hooked up to oxygen, I don't have a lot of help for you there. Your experience is probably going to be a lot different than the vast majority of the people that we work with. But as long as you're doing that little bit of work on the front end, you absolutely will realize very quickly the consistent and fair offers that are generated inside this SI product. Last thing I've got for you guys, then we'll turn it back to Jason and open it up for any questions that anybody has. I mentioned a couple of resources a couple different times. This is our marketing website. So the website address is at the top. Very simple, corebridgefinancial.com/final expense. The difference between this website and the one where the application is that I showed you at the front end is that you don't have to have a login for this website. Okay, this is a marketing website. All of the product brochures for the SI product, the GI product, the rate sheets are out there. There's videos out there. There's a video on the e-app or the tech signature process, like I just talked about. The underwriting guide is there. Everything is here in one spot. You can use the quick quoter at the top of the page. By the way, you can find all this information in Connext, which is the agent portal where you go to do the applications. But again, you have to have that login and maybe do a little bit more hunting around than you would by accessing it here. With that underwriting guide, again, found here in a multitude of places on all of our websites as well. That is really going to be your Bible with us, especially for this SI product, when you're getting to know conditions, medications, and offer types. The last point I'll make on the underwriting guide, because I always get this question, and I think it's very, very important. When you look at it for the first time, and actually let me just pull it up here quick so you can get an idea of what I'm talking about, so that you don't have SI underwriting guide. Okay, let me pull this up here, and I'll just show you quickly what I'm referring to. So this is the underwriting guide. And again, you can see it's a whole bunch of pages, whole bunch of information, and then we get into all these conditions. And there again, I'm scrolling fast here, but I didn't pull it up for us to necessarily go through every one of these. But I just wanted to show you how extensive it is. All the conditions, what the offers would be. The build chart is in here too. And then the knockout medication list on the back end, which I was referring to as well, is the last couple pages. But what I wanted to point out specifically on the underwriting guide, because I get this question a lot, is, hey, Trevor, or hey, Marquise, I looked at your underwriting guide and my customer had this condition and this condition and this condition. And all of them on your underwriting guide say that the offer will be level. But when it came back graded. Well, that's right. And that happened for a very specific reason. Okay. So when you're using the underwriting guide as a resource and you're getting to know it, understand that the decisions that are over here on the right-hand side are on a true standalone basis. So if they have that condition and only that condition, that's the offer. But once you start stacking conditions, your experience is going to be a little bit different. Again, if you've got 3 conditions that on their own would be level, they've got all 3 of them, you're probably going to get a graded offer. So I want to make sure that that is clear and understood. Once you start stacking conditions, it's going to flip that offer into something maybe a little bit different than what it says, because the guide itself is meant to identify those conditions on a standalone basis. So again, folks, a lot of stuff here, right, that we covered. I know there was a handful of people that maybe jumped in late, so I'm going to go back to the first slide here that has our contact information on it for everybody, cell phone number and email address for me. And for Marquise, who again is my internal wholesaler, his phone number and his email address as well. But we kind of put a bow on this all. The whole point in this conversation today is to show you the ease of use of our product and the process with the single application, where you can run run all products on the same application, pivot inside that app without having to start over. Instant decisions 100% of the time, no back and forth with an underwriter, and of course the underwriting niches that we finish up with. So I'm going to pause there and take a sip of water. Jason, I will pass it back over to you. I don't know if there's questions. We've certainly got time to cover those and address any other items.
I am back, baby. No, I appreciate it. I think the ease of the process, like you said, is going to be awesome. I mean, it's going to be fluent for the agents. So I don't know if did you answer anything? Were you answering anything in here? Because I'll just kind of rattle off what I see. I don't know if you answered any yet. I'll kind of go.
Let me check.
Just to be clear, are you saying that all GIWL is approved?
Yeah, it's guaranteed issue.
Okay.
So there's no medical underwriting like there is for SIW. Now there are, to be fair, there are a couple of knockout. Is this person in jail? Are they in? Can they fog a mirror? And I say that facetiously, but it's that sort of stuff, right? So there are a handful of questions, that knockout questions that have to be answered. For the most part, it's approved 50 to 80.
Okay. And if you find out right then on the thing, right, just tells you right.
Yeah, it's 100% instant, 100% of the time.
I think that's really. I mean, there's some other ones about type 2 on metformin, but stable. I don't know what that even I'm saying.
Metformin is treated. I think the question is, they're diabetic taking metformin. Metformin is treated as insulin, so it would be graded SIWL.
Okay. And it'll all do it in there when, like, I know doing this, like, it'll just put you where you're supposed to be based on what some of the answers, right?
That's right. No charge for using credit cards. That was one of the questions. No, there's no charge for any payment method to you or the customer.
And then how long do they get their policy after it's like, how long do they get it mailed to them after it's done? Like how long?
Yeah. So 2 ways. Yeah. So that's a great question. 2 ways to do it. And it's going to ask you inside the application. So it's going to ask you, do you want the policy delivered electronically, or do you want a paper copy mailed to them? To be completely transparent, the electronic email copy is the default in the application for obvious reasons. It saves us a whole bunch of printing and shipping costs. If you select that, as soon as the policy is submitted within 3 hours, they will have it in their email address. If you've selected it to be mailed, again, it will be mailed within, let's call it a week at most from the time the application is submitted.
Okay. I think that's all the so cool. There's a guaranteed final expense we have now. Yep, 100%, which is big. I know we need that like ASAP. That was like yesterday.
The issue date is the issue date, the effective date. So technically, yeah, the words are used interchangeably and can mean different things. You submit the policy today, and you can post date it up to 28 days. So if you're talking to somebody on the phone today and say, hey, listen, I don't get paid by Social Security until the 15th of every month. So I'd really like to do this, but I'd like to set my premium date to July 15th. You can obviously designate and dictate that inside the application. The effective date then would be the 15th when we go to draft that first premium.
I like that. So you have a 28-day window, basically.
Yeah, 28 days. And listen, if it's a thing where you're talking to somebody again today to say, hey, listen, I want to start this in August the 1st. Well, that's fine. They can do that, but it's not going to let you pick that in the application today. You need to do that next week again, or pick a different date that's within 28 days.
I think 1 pay period would be fine. I mean, it's not like
these
things are.
Yeah, we very rarely. If you have to push it out that far, number one, can you really afford it? Number two, do you really want it?
Yeah, exactly. Is there an electronic delivery receipt for us agents to have them sign they received the policy?
No. Well, you will get something that just is a notice that says, hey, this is where or it got delivered. We don't need a signature back. There's nothing needed. It's just for your knowledge. We don't have to have you go back out to the client to get that signature and return it to us. No.
Perfect. Yeah, that's good. You're not tracing around policy delivery receipts. The nightmare of the industry. Believe me, I know. Okay, cool. No, I think this is awesome, man. Obviously, guys, most of you guys are already appointed. Get in there, start. This is my thing. The best way to do it is run one on yourself, see if it fits great. And then secondly, go out and find your first client and start doing the process, right? The fastest way to learn something is to go service a family. So let's get out there. Like I said, the simplicity of this seems awesome to me. I love that we have guaranteed issue. If that's, if we're in that realm of a client, which we do have a lot of those, and let's start flooding Corbridge. And Marquise said he just really wants to get working hard back there. He said he's kind of bored right now. I'm just kidding. Not say that.
He does. Yeah, guys, listen. In all sincerity, we're here for you. So, Jason, I completely agree. Get in there and play around with it. It's the best way to learn it. It's pretty hard to mess it up. If I can figure it out, I know all you can figure it out too. But if you run into any hangups or questions or snags at any point in time, reach out to Marquise, reach out to myself if you need to. That's what we're here for. We're happy to help.
Hey, I want to say one more thing too, guys. Please, right, especially if you're newer agents, get with your leadership. Do not just start sending them messages about, hey, what if this person? Go find a client. Like I'm very, now we can ask the questions, but get with your leadership. We'll break some of that gap. I do not, if they tell me we're flooding like their emails and their phone calls with rando questions that like literally can be answered by leadership, then we are going to take their phone numbers away from everybody and only let us certain people contact them. So guys, this is a huge opportunity, right? To be able to have access to be able to reach out and do this stuff, but like go through your leadership first. You'll probably be able to answer the question, and go there with like specific, I have this client, like that kind of stuff. Do not just flood emails. It drives me crazy. Okay. Like, hey, I'm new. Can you teach me how to quit? No, dude, don't teach me how to Dougie.
I'm not doing that. Yeah, I mean, maybe Marquise will, but I'm not going to.
Hey, no, Marquise, nice. I'm going to help him. He is not doing that either. I'm going to be honest real quick. Like, we're not teaching you how to Dougie here. Okay, you're going to learn from your leadership. So I'm as big on this because, guys, this is a partnership, and we have access to some amazing products, but they are human beings too. And if you annoy the crap out of them, they will not respond anymore. I'm just joking a little bit, but I'm being serious, right? Let's be an organization that does great business. Write stuff that's going to stick, and let's go build together so we can help these families get where they got to go. So, and I will be checking in, Trevor, to make sure we are not that IMO that's just like bleeding you out on questions that don't need to be answered, right?
Okay.
All right, let's go, baby. We're good. But hey, let's get it done. This is huge, guys. We can really help a lot of families, especially these baby boomers that maybe someone just didn't give them what they need. Let's make sure they got the coverage they have to get taken care of. I literally just got hit up by a 7-year-old that needs something. It's like 2 in the last 2 days. Let's go figure it out. All right. So I appreciate you. Let's rock and roll.
You guys are the best. Thank you so much. We'll be in touch.
We'll cycle you back on, Trevor. In a couple weeks, I'll bring you back on, and we're bringing agents in every day. So we'll keep you going. We'll probably go to Zoom so we can all see each other. I kind of like this software, but I don't like not being able to see each other. It freaks me out because I'm going to be honest. But anyway, I love you guys. I appreciate you. Lee, thank you so much for setting it up, and we'll rock and roll.
Thank you, guys. Have a